everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Holy Horror! Rainbows from the depths of the underworld, otherwise known as hell. Jikoku, right? Anyways, so episode number 29. Yes, episode number 29. There's going to only be 2 more episodes left after this one. It is crazy. So coming off of last night's episode where I talked about my favorite of the Friday the 13th movies, which was The Vital Chapter, Jason's Unlucky Day. And I thought, I think I'm going to go review a movie that is quite recent. Now, there's been some movies out there like Don't Breathe and Lights Out, which I just so happen to have just recently purchased Lights Out. I like that movie. However, I already did reviews of those, so I really can't do them now. So what other recent horror movies can I do that actually interest me? Because, the ones like The Gallows, just found footage. Just no, please, no. And The Blair Witch. I've never been a big fan of The Blair Witch. Honestly, here's my review of The Blair Witch Project. Boring as hell. Seriously. Boring as hell. Violence and gore, 0 out of 5. Shock value, 0 out of 5. Acting, -2 out of 5. Plot, 0 out of 5. Nudity, of course, 0 out of 5. Enjoyment factor, -1,000,000 out of 5. And overall impression, -5 billion out of 5. For an average of the calculator's broken. Seriously, that movie was boring and stupid, and I hated every second of it. And honestly, if I had to pick a favorite of the Blair Witch series, it would be Book of Shadows, because at least that had a plot and some entertainment value. And that one chick in there was pretty hot. So anyways, I thought, okay, well, what kind of movie? What movie can I watch? And I know that this one was highly regarded, but maybe not your traditional horror movie, but that movie is The Shallows. The Shallows. Hey, sharks are frightening, and Jaws is a horror movie. And so, why don't I do it? So here I am. I've got The Shallows. So let's do the review. So what's The Shallows about? Well, it's about this woman who is going to this secluded secret beach that her mother went to when she was pregnant with her. So it's kind of like a special beach thing. Anyways, her mother died of cancer, I believe. And so she's going there as like sort of a way to like commune with her, be one with her, and all that good stuff. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. Anyway, so while she's surfing, she gets attacked by a shark, and now she is sort of stranded on these little rocky places that make them their own little islands when the tide is low, but high tide is coming in, and she's going to have to figure out something before that shark that seems like a vindictive son of a bitch, if you ask me, because my God, he ate like 2.5 people, and then like fucking half of a whale. I mean, you'd think you'd be done by now, but honestly, it's there just to murder for some reason. So, anyways, whatever. So, that's the plot of the movie. She's got to figure out how to survive, how to, like, keep herself from bleeding out because she got bed and all this other stuff. So, yeah, I mean, super basic, nothing much. How she's just going to figure out. And, honestly, the strength of the movie is the fact that, you have this tension. You have this wondering, like, how is she going to get out of this? What's going to happen? Every time she goes in the water to do something, the shark's going to be around. When the shark's going to happen, I don't know. And it does a really good job of keeping you in the movie, because there is a lot of not stuff really happening in this movie. There's not a lot of dialogue. There's not a lot of, like I said, story. It's basically you just watching this person struggle to survive, and that's it. And since it is well-paced and doesn't drag on too long and is beautifully shot, the cinematography is wonderful. Honestly, like the first portion of the movie, you're thinking you're watching one of those HD things that they show at like Best Buy or TV retailers to show off the beauty and crystal clear pictures of your televisions. So yeah, it kind of had that feeling, but it at least it kept you there and it sort of mesmerized you with not only the look but the sound design and the performance of Blake Lively, who doesn't really have too many things to say in the very crux of the movie. You know, just like the beginning and the end, and a little bit throughout. But honestly, that performance keeps you into the movie, which is an important thing, because this movie could have gone so bad, it could have just become boring and tedious, and you're just like, okay, come on, shark, just eat her by now, dang it. So let's get to those scores. So violence and gore, 2 out of 5. There is, like, you know, a person ripped in half, and there is a fair amount of blood, and the thing with the shark toward the end, yeah, it was pretty cool, but nothing super great. So 2 out of 5. Shock value, half the person was basically the shock value. Anytime like there was supposedly a jump scare, you could see it coming, and it lessened the impact of the shock value. So I'm only giving it a 1 out of 5. Acting, this is the strong part of the movie. 4 out of 5. Her performance just kept you in there, kept you involved, was realistic, you felt it, you understood her, and you wanted to fight for her. Some of the other characters, the father seemed kind of bland, but overall solid 4 out of 5. She carries the movie, and she has to carry the movie because it's basically her by herself with a little pelican seagull thing. No, not pelican, seagull. So anyways, kudos to that seagull. He did a really good job acting too. So anyways, so plot. We're going to move on to plot because that was acting. 4 out of 5. Plot, 1 out of 5. Honestly, there's just, it's the thinnest of plots that you can have, but that's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is to watch what happens and not really have like a real story. I mean, really, I'm dinging it a lot of points because the shark, I don't think, is acting like a normal shark. The shark is acting like it was pissed off by some guy. Some guy or some girl did something that got stuck in its mouth, and now it wants to kill all humans. And that just seems a little ridiculous, but, you know, you have to have the big bad guy, so whatever. Anyways, 1 out of 5. Nudity, 0 out of 5. Yeah, it's PG-13. What do you expect? You know. Anyways, there's no outfit malfunctions going on in this movie. No, she is a very, very beautiful woman. So, going on to my enjoyment factor, 4 out of 5. Honestly, I really enjoyed the movie. The fact that it's not too long, and the fact that it's got great cinematography, great sound design. Blake Lively does an excellent job performing in this movie, and it keeps your interest, and you are in there, and you're locked in, and it does a good enough job to create tension. It makes you just invested in this character, and you want to know what happens. You want her to make it, and you want that bastard shark to get its comeuppance. So 4 out of 5, and my overall impression is 4 out of 5. A very solid movie, very great movie. It's an experience that transcends the genre. It's something that can be watched by people who like dramas and suspense and thrillers and action films, as well as someone who likes horror. Sure, I guess it's not as scare-filled as you would want in a horror movie. It's not as eerie as you would want. The atmosphere is not like fright inducing. However, it is still a story of survival against a monstrous enemy, and that in itself is a frightening situation. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. That all averages out to a 2.3 out of 5, but still a very good movie, very entertaining movie. The Shallows, and That's it. That's it. I mean, there's not much to say about it other than what I've said. You know, great cinematography, great acting, great sense of, I would say suspense, but just tension, and it does a good job. Like, it's a movie like that could so easily go the other way and become boring and tedious, and this one didn't. So, kudos to that. So, a great movie, The Shallows. And tell me what you think. Did you watch The Shallows? Leave a comment in the comment box. I don't know why I keep asking, because no one actually does, but whatever. I'll keep asking until somebody does something or whatever. I mean, you know, what else am I going to do? Anyways, give it a thumbs up, whatever, subscribe, crap, whatever, I don't know, whatever, all the stuff that they say that you're supposed to say at the end of a YouTube video to, like, totally, like, grow the channel, it helps a lot, and blah, 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 visit the sponsors, shit like that. Anyways, whatever, I don't care, you know, it is what it is. So, there you have it, episode number 29, 2 more episodes to go, and, honestly, I've already got them planned out, and hopefully you'll like what I'm going to do. I mean, tomorrow's episode is basically, you know what, I touched on a bunch of Friday the 13th, and it would be quite unfair of me to ignore another seminal horror movie franchise, since I'm going to touch on that. So, I know you're probably going to figure out what I'm going to do for tomorrow, but I'm not going to say it until I do it, but, you know, you can figure it out. Anyways, until then, internet, let's just say, baby, there's a shark in the water. Is that how the actual lyrics go? Because I've never really actually looked at the lyrics. I just heard that song a billion friggin' times, so I don't know if it's baby, there's a shark in the water, or maybe there's a shark in the... I don't know. Someone got you barking at the moon, okay? So, yeah.